Good morning. I have another gun video. I was looking and I found a gun that's very near and dear to me. Um, it was a gun that had belonged to my dad. It is the Winchester 69 Alpha. It's a 22. It's a target rifle, and the reason that it's near to not just because it belonged to my dad, but my dad's story was he belonged to the CYO, which is the Catholic Youth Organization at the church when he was a kid, and he belonged on the shooting team. They had a shooting team, and he used to borrow other people's rifles to shoot, and he was a good shot. Well, one time they had a competition, and he won a rifle, and this is the rifle that he won. So there's varying stories about when it was that he won this rifle, from when he was 14 years old, 16 years old, whatever in the later years he couldn't remember exactly when it was that he got it. And there's no real way to date this gun because they didn't put a serial number on it because it was prior to 1968. But there's certain characteristics of the rifle that you can tell, and you can kind of zero in on approximate dates anyway. And this one here, you can get it down to 1 year or 2 years of when it was actually built. We'll go over it first. First, you got your butt plate. You get your two swivels. It's bolt action. It's got magazine. I have the 5-round magazine in, and it also came with a 1-round magazine, which I don't know where that is. It has a peep sight, which we'll talk about. It has, you can see in the barrel, it's down there. It's a little, not in the barrel, but in the sight is a little, I don't know what you call that, a little spike, but there it is. And it has, like many target rifles, it has a way you can unscrew this and take that little piece out and put another piece in that you want. I have another target rifle that is very similar to the way that's done, and I'll show you that when we get to that. Okay, so now that we have a rifle here that we don't know exactly when it was made. Um, now they even put dates on barrels and stuff that show you when it was made so that you can figure that out. So we have to look at characteristics. Okay, we know first of all that the rifle was begun being made in 1935. In 1935, they made a rifle to be a mid-priced 22 sporting rifle. Well, soon after it was made, they realized that one of the things that they needed, that people wanted, was a target rifle. So they came up with the two versions of the 69A, and they have the 69A, which is the target rifle, and then they have the match rifle. The target rifle is for obviously target shooting, but the match is for the more serious of the target people. And this is a match rifle. How do I know this? Okay, so what you have is, let's say it was made in 1935. In 1936, one of the things they did was they made a larger pistol grip. So then you say, okay, well, it was made at least in 1936. In 1937, they introduced a scope for this thing. It was ridiculous. Here's the rear, and here's the forward mounts for the scope. So the scope took up most of the barrel part here. People didn't like it. They took it off, but they had already drilled the holes for the scope, so they had to have it. So that's on there. So we know that it was at least 1937. And another one is the safety used to be on the back. I didn't show it before, but on the Mosin, it's similar, where you would pull back on the bolt and turn it, and that would be your safety. The Mosin does that. Well, you can't do that on this gun, but what they've got is the safety is right here next to the bolt handle. Now, in 1940, they put sights on the guns. The target rifle had a certain peep sight that they put on it, whereas the match was actually they put a more expensive and more detailed version of the peep sight. And this is the Lyman 57E. And what you got is adjustments for windage and for elevation. And that's so you figure, okay, well, 1940, so it must have been made in 1940, right? Well, in 1940, they also had a sling. I don't have the sling. I mean, it would be 80 years old. It's a leather sling. And this sat in my dad's closet for probably 60 years. But anyway, so what you got is in 1940 they put 1 inch sling on it, and then in 1947 they changed it to a 1 1/4 inch sling. I measured this and I used a sling on it as a 1 inch sling. So that's 1940. Okay, so we're going up, and then what happened in 1941? The war broke out. Winchester stopped making target recreational weapons and went to making weapons for war. So they stopped making this gun. They didn't start making it again until 1947. And in 1947, one of the big changes, there was a bunch of changes, but one of the changes was the bolt itself. The handle on the bolt here is straight. It's not straight that way, but it's straight that way. In 1947, the bolt was a sweepback bolt. So you know it wasn't post World War II. It was pre World War II, and it was probably made in 1940, 41, somewhere before the war. So that's how people like myself we can go back and try to date a rifle without actually having a serial number to do so. The important thing for that is you have to have a gun that's not been messed with. You know, people modified it or do whatever, and that's where I have problems with some of my guns when they come and they're not on their original stock, and they don't have the original sights and they don't have things like that. That it's harder to try to date these guns. So, but this is my dad won it. Had as a boy, said he used to shoot it. Got married. My mother doesn't like guns or didn't like guns, and he put it in the closet and left it in the closet for once in a while as kids we used to go peek through and see the gun, you know, because it was such a mystery to us. And that's one thing I didn't want to do with my kids was make guns the mystery. Um, you know, I took them out shooting and introduced them to guns so that there would be no mystery to that, so they wouldn't have the desire to be curious about it. Anyway, I've got some more 22s to look at that are interesting because all guns are interesting, and so we'll have some more movies, um, unless I can increase my collection, which that would have to go past the boss as far as that goes. But I do still have my projects. The number 5 project is still in the wings, waiting to happen till I can get more parts in. I mean, they've been ordered. I just haven't got them in yet. So, but anyway, thanks for watching.